Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Another Thursday is here. That means it is time for Jank Pack Thursday. Um, when I do these, I really should write down what I did last week to make it easier for the bridge here. No, I remember it was the Youngblood comics. Which, in all honesty, if you can find a pack of trading cards that truly defines the 1990s more than that stuff did, I would love to see it because that was ultra 90s. I did some organizing of the box, added a couple things that have been sitting around that I think should be added. So we are going to shuffle because now 67 entries live upon the wheel. We're going to spin, we're going to see what comes up, and we're going to have our little history factoid of the day. And today we're turning to literature. This day, April the 10th, the year 1925, The Great Gatsby, the third novel of F. Scott Fitzgerald, is published to very mixed reviews and, from what it seems, very low sales, as by the time of his death in 1940, less than 25,000 copies had been sold. However, once you get to the 2010s, it's routinely selling 500,000 copies per year. And on today's Jank Pack Thursday, we're going a Goody G Pack. We're going Fievel Goes West. I like this one. The Fievel movies are fun. We're going to see some cat mustache, and it's going to be an absolutely good time. And apologies to Barry, especially since there was that horrifying thing that came out of that penny sieve last week. There will be no gum. So, join me at the table in just a moment. And here we are over at the table again. This is going to be a weird little time warp. The video that you guys are going to see tomorrow, I actually filmed the day before I'm filming this, when the weather had started to warm up. We'll start looking because I don't know where in the world it is. The weather had started to warm up and my allergies had been going nuts because the plants were blooming. Well, the next day, which is actually Tuesday, it's snowing currently. Yeah, here we go. Fievel Goes West, an American Tale, coming from Goody G. That's right, I'm actually sitting here, glancing to my left and watching snow falling. It's April. I just can't anymore. So we're going to get into this pack, and honestly, it's been forever since I've seen either of these two movies. Either the first one, which had come out years before, or An American Tale, Fievel Goes West, which came out, 1993. So these cards, I guess, came out in 92, and the movie came out either that year or the year before. But we are going to get into it, and thank you to Goody G, one of the kings in the TTM community, and just a good all-around guy. We'll send all kinds of good TTM fuel, and I've gotten a lot of good autographs back because of cards he sent me. But let's take a look. We've got 12 full-color animated cards. Bonus holograms. Limited edition hologram cards have been randomly placed in some of these packages. That would be fantastic. Fantastic, I say. But we are going to get in. Actually, I learned my lesson from tomorrow's video as well. I can actually move this stuff back to give myself a little more breathing room, and without the normal backdrop, in theory, nothing is going to come crashing down. Let's go in, and we start off right away with checklist. Checklist number 2. How many cards are there? Wow, there's a lot. 150, and then 5 different holograms. Hopefully we get a hologram. I would love to see what those look like. Ooh, a character development card. I like these little sketch cards. And let's see, the most important element in any good movie is the acting. In animation, how good the actors are depends mostly on how well they are created and drawn. Early sketches define how the characters will act, react, and move around on the screen. Since these animated actors don't really exist in real life, the artists creating them have to draw out every move they'll ever make. That is an insane level of talent that I only wish I could have a part of. Oh, we're going to have some great mustaches. Look at that one. We have Fievel's idea. At the rally, I remembered the stories that Papa used to tell me about the scariest monster there ever was, the giant mouse of Minsk. My idea was to make our own giant mouse and scare the cats into running out of town for good. Trojan cat, as it were. And when you look at stuff like this, what were the other animated ones from back in the day that are actually quite traumatizing and horrible? The Secret of Nim. That'll give you nightmares. Floating in a bottle, and that's what it is. The animated movies back in the day, it wasn't happy-go-lucky. Sometimes it was fight or flight. After I fell off the boat, I managed to grab onto a bottle floating in the water. I climbed in and hoped that I would be carried along by the tides, but I wasn't sure that I would ever make it to America. And that look sums up a lot right there. Oh, look at that. What do we have here? And I cannot remember any of the characters' names, but we'll find out. Fievel is discovered as he tries to escape from the hustler Mouse's strings, and he looks like a sure bet for Cat R. Wall's next midnight morsel. I love the pun names. But the insidious Wall ends up letting Fievel go, at least for the moment. Wall sends his sinister sidekick Chula to escort Fievel back to his family. Okay, and these are 1991, I just noticed. I mean, Cat R. Wall, it's beautiful. Fievel faces One Eye. Fievel's imagination kicks in, and he pretends he's a Western movie star. Facing down the menacing cat hoodlum known as One Eye, Fievel's bravado catches the feline off guard, who is not used to being confronted by anyone. But the feline soon recovers and closes in on the feisty mouse. There's your lesson. Always go on the offensive, kids. What do you got there? Hester Street. It's 1881, and the Mouskovitzes make their new American home on Hester Street in New York City. But life here isn't easy, and money is hard to come by. Papa can't seem to sell any of his violins, even though they are of the finest quality. Times are tough for everyone, it seems. I wonder if I'm betting there is, but I wonder if there is, a Hester Street in New York City. I'll have to look. Geronimouse. That's just brilliant. Old Geronimouse is the magical chief of the Mousehecan tribe, able to create fire by merely speaking the words of his ancient language. His wisdom is understood by his tribe, who follow him as he leads them in traditional rituals. Did you know no one knows how old Geronimouse is? He may be well over 100. The puns for days, everyone. Oh, look at how cute he is. And I got to see. I know some of the voice actors from this film are no longer with us, but if any of the voice actors, are still around, I think there's some TTM potential. Fievel Mouskovitz is living proof that you can't keep a good mouse down. Even when life gets tough, he keeps his dreams alive. And when it comes for fighting for what's right, Fievel proves that heroes come in all shapes and sizes. Did you know Fievel's favorite hero is the famous law dog Wiley Burp? If I recall correctly from the movie, Dom DeLuise was Tiger the cat, which hopefully we'll get to see, but I believe, here we will. Hold on a minute. I'll come back to that. Escape devices. See, look, it's kind of rough for a kid, but, times were different back in the 80s and 90s. In the face of the invading cats, the mice seek every possible means of escape, including inventions they created just for such emergencies. Tuna cans work as elevators, escape hatches appear from nowhere, roller skates become escape vehicles. But every escape route seems to lead the mice into the sewer. That's where the alligators live, according to urban legend, which you have to say, the urban legends we heard back in the day were some of the first viral stories that ever existed. Look at that mustache. That is the Wiley Bunch. Fievel must save his fellow mice. Tiger, Dom DeLuise, rest in peace, one of the greats, must win back Miss Kitty, and Wiley Burp must regain his pride and his place as top law dog. So the honest trio in the West, mouse, cat, and dog, use each other's strength to join together and save their town. If I'm not mistaken, which I very well might be, I think Wiley Burp was voiced by the late, great Jimmy Stewart. And Earless, our final card. Who in the world is that? Oh, Earless will always follow Cat Wall's orders. I think, and also back in the 80s and 90s, you would have one person doing several voices in one thing. So I think this was one of the voices in which the, I guess a consummate voice actor would have played. Earless will always follow Cat Wall's orders, even though they may be hard for him to hear. Just another poker-playing old tomcat with a taste for mouse stroganoff. Earless is so tough he could pass a dog pound without even speeding up. Earless got his name because part of his ear was bitten off by a dog. I mean, that just stands to reason. I love the artwork on this. I love the artwork, and I love the fact that it's it's something from a long... And what was the other one? I mentioned The Secret Nim, which was just horrifying. What was it? Watership Down. Whoo! Watership Down, that one affected a lot of kids, but I do have to say, in the animated realm, nothing affected an entire generation of kids more than the Transformers movie when they killed off Optimus Prime. That was just, that brought me back to the sad times. But that was a great pack. After this, I'm gonna take time and I'm gonna research to see which of the voice actors portrayed whom and are still with us, and then, some potential TTM fuel. Now, thankfully, since there's no gum, but the Gum-Cophagus, or the Gum-Cophagus, I always add the S when it shouldn't be there. The Gum-Cophagus from Tim will sit there and menacingly mock. I don't like the way that one looks. There's so many different colors on it that I see more clearly through the camera than I do in real life. But we had it last week, so I'm taking a week off. Now, time for community shout. Oh, before I do that, Goody G, thank you once again. Link to him down below. Please make sure to check him out. And if you're not part of the Discord server, you can see, I recommend joining it because you can see all of his returns and he gets some amazing TTM returns. Now we have our shout out, and it's going to the commish, Callie and Jordan squad, the leader of the CBE, the creator of all things card battles, and just a good all-around guy. He loves his Tennessee Titans, he loves his Notre Dame, and he loves his Pittsburgh teams, which is why he gets a big thumbs up from me. So he's right on the verge of 8,000 subs. 7.99K, not sure exactly where, but either way, it's a small handful. If you haven't subbed up the commish, please link down below. Make sure to do it, and let's get him to that 8K mark, which would be very, very awesome. And now, as I turn my attention over to the left, that way, where the box of mystery lives, and the snow is... Actually, the snow is slowing down a little bit. However, it is accumulating. Let's go April in the Northeast. Okay. Now is the time when everything changes. And we had one of the kind of papery packs. Well, we've got another one. We're going back to the soccer. We're going back for Vinnie Jones. I have some that came from 3 Good Nerds. We're going to get a Vinnie Jones. It has to happen. Law of averages states that the more of this I open, hopefully the better chance I have of doing this. Although FTP and the spinach may throw a monkey wrench into the law of averages thing, but I am still a believer in it. Card number 1, and plus we'll get some mustaches, hair, and short shorts. Ray Houghton for Liverpool. Nope. Oop, here we go. We've got Nigel Winterburn. Absolutely love that name. From Arsenal. We have got Tim Flowers from Southampton. Come on, give us something. Anders Limpar from Arsenal. It's an Arsenal pack. We got Kevin Gallagher. Peugeot. Coventry City. I should try to guess the teams, but I really can't. Oh, we got us a nice flowing mullet. Shout out to Maiden's World of Wax. We got Roy Wegerly. I think that would be how it's pronounced. There we go. Queen's Park Rangers. For some reason, it wasn't focusing there, and it was drawing my attention. Nearing the end, still have not seen Vinnie Jones. John K. from Sunderland. Come on, he's got to be in here. Alan McDonald from the Queen's Park Rangers. And finally, kind of a baby mullet, Steve Staunton, excuse me, from Liverpool. Did that say, that does say Candy. That's the crazy thing. I can never keep track of the sponsorships and whatnot, but I should recognize the colors of their kit by now, but unfortunately I don't. So, we were skunked on Vinnie Jones, but you know the one thing we weren't skunked on? That. It stays sealed for this week. Apologies, Barry, except half-heartedly because I need a break from that nonsense. So that is going to do it for this Jank Pack Thursday. Thank you once again to Goody G for the pack of Fievel Goes West. Big shout out to the commish. Almost on the verge, or right on the verge of 8K subs. Hopefully that happens for him very, very soon. Links to everybody down below. Thank you to everybody who took the time to be in the premiere. Thank you to anybody watching on the rewind. We will see you next time.